Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or as I like to call it, our little corner of the internet, which I love so very much. I can't wait to go over these clips with you. Of course, I have to remind you this is for our entertainment purposes only. I'm not trying to sway your opinions in any way. I'm just showing you what's out there. So it's up to you to do your own research, climb down the rabbit holes you choose, and make your own informed decisions. So with all that stuff out of the way, let's get to the good stuff. Let's go.
It's always so easy to explain. Take a look at this video and tell me what you think it is. I know what I think it is. Leave it in the comments. Unanswered Universe.
Well, I would say it's likely some sort of laser situation. Unfortunately, I feel bad that the trees are being attacked, but what it looks like is a giant flaming being walking through. Doesn't it? I don't know. I hope those trees are okay.
I was at a cool party and there's people talking all over the place. There was a guy, he's probably like 20 feet away. I hear this little voice and like in the distance going like, hey, if anybody's out there, I'm having a crazy trip right now. I responded in the quietest voice. I was like, no, I can totally hear you. What's going on? We started having a conversation back and forth. And Mason can attest to it because he heard me talking. He's like, who were you talking to? I was like, I was talking to that guy over there. It was a real conversation. I was like, how is this possible? How can I be having this super quiet conversation? It's almost like quantum tunneling or something like that. And that's happened more.
I feel like he was going to say more than just that one time. Wild. Have any of you ever had these sort of ESP-like conversations with anyone? I'd be very curious. I have not. I guess it's like, you know, you kind of think about somebody and then they text you, or you're about to say something and somebody will say it. You know, stuff like that happens a lot, but nothing like this. Not to me. Hey guys, just a quick interruption to say thank you for being here and to remind you that I make these videos every single day, Monday through Sunday. So if you're not already subscribed, go on ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you're enjoying the video, feel free to hit the like button. Check out some of the other ones if you're new here. We are super happy to have you. And speaking of, I want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed, everyone who's commented. It warms my heart seeing you guys interact with each other. And of course, I love interacting with you as well. But it's really cool to go in and reply to something and see that someone else already has who's in the community. This is so cool. I love everything about this. And I just want to say, if you didn't get a reply from a comment, I swear it's not because I don't really appreciate you. I just haven't gotten to everything yet. But I am trying, and you guys are the best. And no one's ever going to convince me otherwise. So I'm not going to keep us any longer. Let's get back to the videos, but please know that I appreciate you. Onward. Hello.
Your choice. What do you like?
Well, I like the 42, but I keep the Ciroc because I had this one nightmare that Diddy might just pop in my dressing room at any time of the day.
You have to have it.
And it just has to be
good idea.
I feel like these comments just happen because people are friends and you just say silly things about them, and then because all these people were filmed, all these weird clips are popping up, or they could absolutely mean something. Absolutely. They do say that they put it right in front of your face, and that does seem to be true a lot of the time. I think it's part of the deal. They have to.
Did you know Prince Charles is the heir to the real Count Dracula?
This is insane.
Prince Charles is the main heir of Count Dracula.
Check this out, y'all.
I know, I agree. That sounds insane. I bet you $1 million.
Bring that up, Jamie.
I bet Prince Charles Count Dracula. Prince Charles is the heir of Count Dracula. Is that right? He moved in 5 years ago to Count Dracula's castle, and he lives with a group of homeless children in it.
No, he does not.
I swear to God.
Prince Charles, Prince Harry's dad.
Prince Charles, the heir of the throne of the dragon.
Okay.
Is a Transylvanian prince.
According to this Google search from express.co.uk, Prince Charles has distant kinship to Vlad Tepes, the 15th century Wakallian ruler, whom the Irish novelist based his Dracula. Hold on.
Truth is stranger than fiction, y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
That's nuts. Wouldn't we have known that he moved into his castle, though? That's pretty odd. Isn't the castle in Romania? I don't know. And living with the children, I'm very confused about a lot of this. I might need to look into this. Does anyone else know what's going on about this situation? This seems to be from a long time ago because it looks like it's Andrew Schultz's old set. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to look. Oh, come on, man. I did this.
That's exactly what you think those are. They look like little skulls, don't they? Well, wait and you see where they are, because they are at the Leprechaun City. And the Leprechaun City, I can't even believe this person is there. It's not some place you want to hang out. But that's where they're at. It sort of shuts down if a human gets close, and I guess that's what's happened, but it's still lit up. I'd get out of there if I were you. It's leprechauns.
I believe this is man-made. I think it's been documented, but I had to put it in because it's gorgeous. How cool is this little magical fairyland in the forest? Very cool. Although, no one would know if, when humans aren't around, little beings occupy it. We wouldn't know.
These were arrests on a massive scale. Amongst those taken into custody by the FBI were city mayors, politicians and religious leaders. The authorities needed buses to cope with the sheer scale of the operation.
New Jersey's corruption problem is one of the worst, if not the worst, in the nation. Corruption is not only pervasive, it has become ingrained in New Jersey's political culture.
It's thought that religious charities controlled by prominent rabbis were used to launder cash. The arrests were part of a 10-year operation that uncovered money laundering on an international scale, as well as corruption and the sale of human organs in the US, Switzerland and Israel.
The list of people we arrested sounds like it should be the roster for a meeting of community leaders. But sadly, they weren't meeting in a boardroom this morning. They were in the FBI booking room.
Prosecutors say one rabbi was dealing in human kidneys for transplant for a decade, buying them from vulnerable people at a huge profit. The scale of the corruption across New Jersey has outraged residents.
It just goes back to the belief that Hudson County is incredibly corrupt. And I thought we were making headway and becoming less corrupt.
The number of arrests was remarkable even for New Jersey, where more than 130 public officials have pleaded guilty or been convicted of corruption in the last.
Whoa, that's like Gotham levels of corruption. Holy goodness. I did not realize this was in New Jersey. However, I will say Hudson County / Secaucus, it might as well be New York. Let's be real. But this is crazy stuff. Crazy. I love that it was like the money laundering. And then they're like, oh yeah, and the sale of human bits too. Just throwing that in there. Speaking of, I've been watching this show. It's not the first time I've seen it, and it's very old. But if you haven't seen Blacklist yet, I 100% recommend it if you love this kind of stuff. One of the episodes, though, that was recent, this guy was renting out organs. And if the person who needed it didn't pay, they would come confiscate it. Crazy. Sorry if I spoiled that. It's just one episode. The ladybug's back. Hey.
So, do you think you ever been abducted? Hell no. You think you ever seen anything?
Watch his hand.
Why do you believe? Because I'm an alien.
Look at that. Look at that.
Did you see that?
Why? Because I'm an alien. Explain. I can't explain.
Do you now?
It extended. It extended. It extended. It did. That's crazy. People are going to say, oh, that's just the camera, blah, blah, blah. No. No. I say no.
December 18th, 1956, a brand new game show called To Tell the Truth aired on a major American television network. 4 celebrity judges would be presented with 3 people who all claimed to be the same person, and they all introduced themselves as Ed Edwards. Then the host of the show read aloud the biography of the real Ed Edwards, and he would say that Ed at one point was on the FBI's list of the top 10 most wanted criminals in America, and then upon release from prison, Ed remained this reformed criminal. The crowd was totally astonished at who this guy actually was, because he did not look like this ex-convict. And then the world forgot about Ed Edwards until 2009. That year, Ed's estranged daughter, 40-year-old April Blasio, she found an unsolved murder in a town called Watertown, Wisconsin, that happened right around the time that her family very briefly lived in this town. April called the Watertown Police Department. They got him to give them a DNA sample. It matched the samples that were taken at the crime scene, and as soon as he was in custody, he confessed to the murder, and then he requested the death penalty. But he was told the maximum punishment for this crime was life in prison, and so he confessed to another double homicide, but they said that still won't get you the death penalty. Ed revealed a third murder. In 1996, he had killed his own foster son for the insurance money. For this crime, he was sentenced to death, but he would die of natural causes 2 years later.
Good riddance. Wow. He was just going to keep giving his tickets up till they gave him what he wanted. What a... That's disgusting. I worry about those kids in foster care.
Here's the idea why you're in a simulation. Let's start with acting, first of all. And a 2-year-old screams at a restaurant, the entire restaurant screams. Teach that kid how to act. We're all unpaid actors in some giant script that we didn't write. Simulation, a 2-year-old jumps on a coffee table and someone says, that's a coffee table, don't jump on that. So it went from being something that makes him feel like Superman, he's got his cape on, to something where he has to think about this person's like a family member he doesn't like anyway. He's 2 years old, he doesn't give a about a coffee or a table. And he's starting to like calculate all these things. And by the time you're 40 years old, you've got a wall full of coffee tables and calculating you into your career choice. You know, that's the simulation that I'm talking. That's what I mean when I say simulation.
He's so right though. I know he can be a little unhinged, but there are some things that are just, you're speaking the truth. How many coffee tables do you guys have? Sometimes you just got to jump on them. Or else you're going to end up in a ticky-tacky little house. And by that, I mean, just like the song, everybody fits into a mold that they feel like they're supposed to. And then that's it. And you're left unfulfilled or wishing that you had done something. So you got to take a chance. Like, I'm taking a chance with this channel. I didn't think anybody would care what I have to say, but you just got to try. And I hope you guys are trying. Try for your big dreams. You get one shot at this life. You might come back for another, but you get one shot at this one. Goodness.
Where Are You Now? Music video by Justin Bieber. The whole time, there was subliminal messages when Justin Bieber was rapping, right? Aliens are real, Masonic symbols, Illuminati is real, believe in the devil. Yeah. And it goes, where are you now that I need you? And then when that thing goes off, there's a bunch of art. Once you slow down the video frame by frame, whoa! Look. Masonic symbols right there. The Master 22. Whoa, that's in there? Yes. Look, pyramids in the eye.
Flash that in this video.
They pushed Justin to push that agenda. We been knew this.
I thought Justin was on the good side.
I think even the people on the good side are just trying to survive. It's my 2 cents.
Here's this theory. It's called time slipping. And it's a thing in England, especially in Liverpool. There's a street called Bold Street. And there are people who have said they somehow revert to a different time where they see much older things than they should be seeing.
There's this fun idea going around in our community right now on a T-symmetry universe. So in our universe, we move forward in time. Space-time is a 4-dimensional mathematical model of 3 layers of space, right? So this is like 2D, we're 3D, and then fourth being time. So that's what space-time is when we talk about space-time. So a T-symmetry universe would be alongside ours, moving backwards in time, which actually kind of checks in a way, because in space you can move forward and back, you can go left and right, but in time, why can't we go backwards? So if there was an alternate universe alongside of ours, it would actually also mathematically explain the acceleration of our universe. Mathematically, it actually checks pretty well, but it would be a universe in reverse entropy, which as a mathematician is like the worst phrase ever. So if there was a universe alongside of ours that was actually moving backwards in time as we go forward, that story would only make sense to me if they were seeing it go backwards.
I'm out.
My head hurts. You're too smart for me.
I know the whole time theory. There's so many, you know, and time travel, etc. There's just so many things, math things and string theory things and dimensional things. There's a lot. I don't know nearly enough about this to comment, but everything she said kind of sounded like it checked out. Do you guys believe in time travel? Do you believe the things that we've seen of, you know, like videos of somebody in the background with a cell phone before cell phones existed, all that kind of stuff? You think it's real? Do you think there are people who figured it out and came back? I'm not sure where I land. I really am not. But I can't say it would surprise me if it were true. Ugh.
In this society, we are exposed to so much information. Radio, television, newspapers, magazines, books tell us all sorts of attractions about things that other people are doing, and we're always wishing we were in somebody else's shoes. In a very ancient form of agrarian culture, as in India or as in Japan or China, a young man who was son of a carpenter would become fascinated with his father's occupation. And that would mean a very special relationship would grow up between him and his father, which does not grow up in our culture. Because most of us do not know what our fathers are doing. They go away to a mysterious office or factory where they do something called making money. That's the main reason for the incidental occupation which they pursue there, but the children and the wife have no active part in that occupation whatsoever. They know Papa only as a kind of clown who returns home in the evening having made money, and one dad's money is the same as another dad's money. It makes no difference, except that everybody wants more. They don't give a damn how he gets there, so long as he doesn't complain too much. So the child, instead of learning and participating in his close father relationship, in learning an occupation or a trade or an art, is sent off to an impersonalized institution to be taught to be everything and nothing, and therefore doesn't learn early enough any craft so as to become a true master of it. What is happening, for example, in Japan, where a father can no longer apprentice his son at 7 years old to become a carpenter because he has to send him away to school to learn to be an insurance salesman. He can't teach his child, and then comes high school. And then when the kid gets out of high school, he's interested in girls. And it takes him until he's about 22 to be able to settle down to learn carpentry. And it's too late. Too late to attain real mastery. Because a great Japanese carpenter never uses a plan. He doesn't need a drawing. He does it all by eye. And can fit the most complicated joinery together by eye. Any kind of gorgeous craftsmanship depends on beginning as a child. We can't buy it anymore in this country. There is not, on any kind of commercial basis, great craftsmanship available. We have to go abroad to get it, to so-called primitive societies. We must be content with plastic simulation. In our society, one works not as a vocation. In this scheme of things, every vocation that you perform is called svadharma. And this word, the word dharma, has many meanings. Dharma. It means function. It means the thing that is right for you. Here, sva is the same as the Latin suus, and so it is one's own. Your own function. What we would call your vocation. Svadharma. Now, a job which you do purely for money can never be called a svadharma. Because you're doing it for another end, to make money, which has a purely symbolic value. But when you do a certain work, because that is what is your thing to do, you want to be a doctor because you're fascinated with medicine and all its problems. And you like people so much that you want to heal them from their diseases. Or you might be fascinated with problems of law, so become a lawyer. Then you've got a vocation. Because you would do that thing, whether it paid you very much or whether it didn't, because that's the one thing you have to do. If you're a painter, you have to paint. If you're a writer, you're one of those crazy people who just has to write. I'm a writer. I have to write. Whether it makes me money or whether it doesn't, I would still have to be a writer. So that's a svadharma. And every person's vocation in caste is supposed to be your thing, your svadharma. But we feel in our culture, you see, that we have such a tremendous choice of svadharma that sometimes it's what the French call embarras de richesse. It's like embarrassment of riches when you're confronted with one of those enormous menus in a restaurant which has so many things on it you can't make up your mind which to pick. Well, now then, you see, as a person passes out of this, he gives up the social order and becomes a nobody. He then, in that sense, he goes back to the forest. He goes back from the organization, the role-playing of the agrarian culture, with the solitude of the hunting culture, to find out who he is alone all by himself. And in later life, as distinct from infancy, with all that experience behind him, find out again who you really are, so that when death comes, what a funny thing will happen. Death comes and will find no one to kill. For while you are identified with your role, with your name, with your ego, there's someone to kill. But when you're identified with the whole universe, death finds you already annihilated.
Whoa. I agree that that is definitely the way Western culture is. We take jobs because we want the money, and we do things because we believe they'll lead us to financial success. I don't think very many people take the road that their heart leads them to. That feeling of, I have to do this. I have to write because that's what I have to do. I have to start my channel. I have to paint. I have to learn how to build. I do think you something you feel in you so strongly. And it's sad that we don't have that, but I do disagree that you can't become a master if you didn't start as a child. I don't think that's true at all. I think a lot of people don't find their passions until later, and there's no way that they don't have the opportunity to become masters. I think they do. I don't think it's ever too late. I don't really love this clip, but I thought it's important if this is going on.
Bro, check this shit out. So that guy down there is a 2,000-pound Hereford bull. That's a breeding bull. It's probably worth between $6,000 and $7,000, but worth way more in terms of the semen it could produce to get other animals pregnant. So like 100 grand maybe this farmer lost. And that animal was drained entirely of all of its blood. So a 2,000-pound animal has about 8.5 gallons of blood. So 8.5 gallons of blood completely drained from it. Nutsack, scrotum, anus, and tongue taken out with surgical precision. Surgical tools were used to take it out. Drained all the blood, took out some vital organs, and zero blood around the body, around the carcass, no tire tracks, no marks anywhere. The owner of this ranch drove around with his wife in concentric circles all over the property, all over near the animal. Couldn't find anything. Weirdest part about that to me, though, is that there was no cleanup crew. The buzzards didn't show up. No bugs eating the carcass. It smelled rotten, they said, but weird because not like you come upon a rotten carcass rotten. This was in 2020 in Oregon. And I think this would be a great inaugural podcast topic. 2 cattle farmers talking about how this shit is impossible. I have no idea how to explain that.
How awful, though, to find one of your herd missing or just stumble upon them out like this. Like, that's devastating. So I made this the last clip, kind of, so we could go into something happy. I didn't want to live with this over our heads the whole time. So onward to happier things. And it is Wizard of Oz related.
This Wizard of Oz movie detail is one of the most insane things I've ever heard about a movie. When it came to finding the perfect coat for the wizard in The Wizard of Oz, the production crew struggled immensely. They wanted one to be elegant but not too fancy, and they searched tons of stores in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. After countless weeks of not finding the perfect coat for the wizard, they thought that they had lost all hope. Right before they got on the train to go back to Los Angeles from Chicago, they went into a secondhand store and found the most beautiful coat. They wanted one to be shabby and a little bit beautiful, but not to be extremely fancy, and they decided that this coat would have been perfect for the wizard. Frank Morgan, who played Professor Marvel and the wizard, liked the coat as well, but he sweated a lot in it, and one day on set, they turned it inside out and noticed something in one of the pockets. In one of the pockets was a sewn-on label that was a name tag for the original owner of the coat. The name inside the coat was L. Frank Baum, who was the original writer for the Wizard of Oz book. Everyone on set was absolutely shocked, and they contacted Baum's widow, as well as the original tailor who made this, who confirmed that it was actually owned by Frank himself. After filming was completed, it was returned back to Mrs. Baum, and this is one of the craziest movie facts and details that I've ever covered.
That might be one of the craziest movie facts I've ever heard, and I would absolutely argue that this is impossible and unbelievable if there weren't things to back it up. I mean, the jacket is with his family now. That's wild. The world is just such a crazy, intricate puzzle of chaos and beauty, and my goodness. We're all lucky to be a part of it. So that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow for another. I hope you have a beautiful night. Thank you again for being here, and I want to say goodnight to my lovely grandma. You guys are amazing. That's all. You're awesome. Good night.